Thanks for tuning in to do some Halloween yoga with me today, and Duncan, of course. I hope you guys are dressed up, having fun. We're going to do a quick little flow to warm up our body and then get into some Halloween-themed poses. So let's just find a nice seated position, whatever makes you comfortable. Let's just put our head high, shoulders down, and close our eyes. Let's start to breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth. In through our nose. Exhale through our mouth. Just keep breathing in and out. Scanning your body. Tuning into your breath. Now let's close those lips to breathe in and out through our nose. Lighting that cauldron fire in the back of our throats. Take one more deep inhale together. And exhale. Now let's open our eyes. Inhale, hands all the way up. Let's just lean over to the one side with an exhale, stretching our sides. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the other side. Inhale back through center. Exhale to the other side. One more time. Inhale to center, exhale, hands down. Let's come onto a tabletop position, wrists under our shoulders, knees under our hips. Let's just take a few wrist circles here, nice and small, nice and slow. And reverse directions. Let's flip our fingertips to face towards our knee and just alternate some elbow bends here. And flip those fingertips back over. And let's get into a black cat position, rounding that back there. And then exhale, coming in to a cow. Stretching that spine. Inhale, round the back. Come into that black cat. And exhale to cow. Now moving with your breath. Listening to your body, waking up that spine. Now let's move our spine in kind of a circular motion, going from cat to cow. Just really warming everything up, loosening things up. And let's place our knees out just a bit wider, placing your butt on your heels, walking your hands out to a nice child's pose. Let's go up on our fingertips here so we can sink down a little bit lower. And then come back up to tabletop position, tucking our toes so we can push our hips up and back, coming into our first downward dog. Alternate some knee bends, really find this place as our home, our resting spot. Few breaths. Let's bend those knees, gaze comes forward so we can jump, step, or float to the top of the mat. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold over. Inhale, swing our arms all the way up. Then exhale, place them back down. Let's inhale, our hands back up. Then take another side stretch here, this time standing. Might be a little bit deeper of a stretch. Inhale to center, and exhale to the other side. Inhale to center, and exhale. Moving with your breath, moving to what feels good for you. Inhale back to center. Let's exhale our hands back down, coming to a forward fold. Placing our hands down into the mat so you can jump or step to a high plank. Let's lower down through chaturanga and up through to a upward facing dog. And then back to a downward facing dog. A few breaths here. On your next inhale, let's raise our left foot up into the air for a three-legged dog. And then bring that leg over just to open up that hip. Maybe take a few ankle rolls here. And then center it and place it back down next to your right foot. This time we'll take our right foot up into the air, opening up that hip. A few ankle circles on this side. And then placing it back down. One breath here. And then bend those knees, gaze comes forward, jump or step or float to the top of the mat. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold over. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, hands come down to the sides. Inhale, hands come up. Exhale, let's fold on over. Let's wrap our arms around our legs, giving our legs a nice hug and deepening that forward fold stretch. A few breaths here. Let's release those arms. Inhale, swing all the way up one more time. And exhale, fold over, hands facing into the mat so you can jump or step to a high plank. And then bend those elbows slowly lower down through chaturanga to an upward facing dog. And let's just pause here for just a moment, tapping our hips one at a time, deepening the stretch here. Let's lower our legs so they can just melt into the mat, still pushing our chest up and away, nice and high, head held high, shoulders away from your ears. And then let's tuck those toes, push our hips up through plank and back to a downward facing dog. Now let's float our right leg up, bend that knee, bringing that foot through both hands. And let's bring our hands up to start our warrior flow. Pausing here for just a moment, deepening that lunge. And then opening up, rotating that back foot. Into our next warrior pose. This is where you can get your thriller hands out here if you want to go a little spooky. And let's turn our gaze up for reverse warrior. Letting that back leg, hands lie down the leg. And let's bring our weight all the way forward, resting your right forearm on your right leg, on your thigh, and then shifting your gaze up and over, looking up at your left fingertips. Let's place both hands on either side of your foot so that you can release your right foot back and up to a three-legged dog, and then down to a downward facing dog. Take one breath. And then bend those knees, gaze comes forward, jump, step, or float to meet those hands. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold over. Inhale, swing the arms all the way up. And exhale, right back down, hands placing into the mat. Jump or step back to a high plank. And then we're going to lower down through chaturanga to an upward facing dog. And then hips up and back for a downward facing dog. This time we're going to let our left foot float up to a three-legged dog and then bend that knee, placing the foot towards the chest through both of your hands, placing all your weight in your feet so you can let your hands rise up to our warrior flow. First, let's focus on that lunge, knee over our ankle, getting that burn in our legs. And then turning open to our next warrior pose. Get out those thriller arms. And then gaze comes up towards the sky, right hand slides down our right leg. And then shift our weight forward, left forearm over our left thigh. Right hand up to the sky, looking through those fingertips. And let's place both hands down on either side of our foot, pressing into the mat so you can lift your left foot up and away to a three-legged dog. And then back down to your downward facing dog. One inhale. And then bend those knees, gaze comes forward, jump, step, or float. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold over. Inhale, come all the way up. Alright, now we're going to get into some spooky poses here. So let's heel toe our feet to the side. I'm going to turn to face you. You can keep facing the front of your mat. Now, hands can come down. We're going to come up onto the balls and toes of our feet, and then bend those knees, letting our hips drop down, and then hands come down to help us balance. You can crisscross here, head comes down to kind of hide that crisscross, and we get into this spider-like pose. All of our hands and feet acting like our spider legs. So let's hold here for just a few more seconds. And then place those heels down, raise those hips to the sky to relieve our legs. Keep your head and upper body resting towards the floor. And then let's go back to the toes and balls of our feet, letting those hips come back down, and then get your spider legs back out. Nice and creepy crawly. And then place those heels back down, hips up. Let's walk our hands over to the left side, getting a nice stretch while we're down here. And then walk over to the other side. Breathing into each stretch. And then back to center. Now let's heel toe our feet back in to be in line with our hands. We're going to place our hands firmly into the mat here. Knees can go into your armpits or by your triceps. And what we're going to do is float into a crow pose. So find where you can feel like you can put all your weight into your arms. Maybe you just raise one foot at a time. Your weight is going to come into your hands. Start with raising just one foot and then the other. floating here on your hands. And then place our feet back down. Just raise those hips. Shake out our arms. We're going to go back one more time now that we know what we're doing. Placing those hands firmly into the mat. I like to come up on my toes here so my knees can meet my armpits. And then rocking forward to put all my weight in my hands. And float. Continue to breathe. And then place your feet back down. Get those arms, one more shake out. Let's crisscross our arms here, letting our head hang. And just sway side to side. And now let's walk our hands a little bit further into the mat and then step our feet back so we can come into a downward facing dog. And let's raise our right foot up to a three-legged dog and then bring it to the right side of our right hand. We're going to come into a modified lizard pose. So we're going to try to tuck our right shoulder underneath this leg here so it can raise up. And if you look from the front, if you're trying to get that spooky Halloween picture, you can make it look like you just have one foot coming out from your shoulder and you're this weird monster creature that you don't have a back foot. So let's take this pose on our right side. Tucking that shoulder underneath our leg. You can try to lift that leg up or just leave it right where it is. And now let's come all the way down to the ground, letting our left leg melt into the mat. And then if you want to go down further with your forearms, now's the time. Listen to your body. Let's push our hands back into the mat. We're just going to swing our right foot back, taking a quick child's pose. Then coming up through tabletop, tucking those toes, lifting those hips. Coming back into a downward facing dog. This time, raise the left foot and then bring it to the outside of your left hand. Now bringing your left shoulder underneath your left foot and then try to raise that foot up or leave it right where it is. Listen to your body, do what feels best. And then placing that right foot and knee and leg down into the mat. And taking whatever you took on the other side. You might feel that one side's a bit more flexible than the other. Just do whatever feels good. And then place both hands into the mat, swinging our left foot out and back, coming into a child's pose. Just breathe. And let's come up to a tabletop position here. Let's bring our right arm up, gaze follows, and then thread it through our left, opening underneath our arm to place our right shoulder onto the mat. Gaze follows, and up. Working on our shoulder stretch. And then place your left hand back into the mat. Coming back to all fours this time, lifting the left hand up, gaze follows, and then threading it through your right side. So your left side can lay on the mat and gaze follows up. place your right hand back into the mat, coming back to all fours. We're just gonna swing our feet in front. This time we're going to make the illusion that we are floating. So we're gonna do this by switching from a reverse bridge to a floating stance using our abs to lift us up. So we're gonna start with our feet out in front of us. Hands on either side of our hips. And then you're going to rock forward, hips coming up. If you need to add a little bit of weight to your practice, you can ask a friend to sit on your lap while you're doing this. And then you're going to swing your hips forward and up. And then swing your hips back and through. And then you're going to lift up. And if you can lift your feet at the same time, if you don't have a puck on you, it might work a little bit better. Let me excuse him from our yoga session. Hey, yes, go. Come on. Come on. There's only room for one pug on this yoga mat. All right, let's try that again. So, feet out in front, hands on either side of your hips. We're gonna rock forward to come into this bridge, and then swing your hips back and through to float. And do it again. And float. Whew, this is tiring. It works your arms, it works your abs, your upper thighs. So if you're trying to get, again, that spooky pose, that spooky picture, trying to get yourself floating, you're just hands on the side, lift your butt up, and then your feet to follow. So let's come into the most Halloween pose of them all, the corpse pose. So let's lay down as flat as you'll go, hands out to the side. Let your body collapse into your mat. And just start to let your breath settle. Your mind settle. Your body and heart settle. Just fall into your breath. Ever so slightly, start to deepen your breath here. Feeling your chest rise, your lungs expand, your belly fill with air. Inhale, let's wiggle our arms. Exhale, let them fall flat. Next inhale, let's raise our arms up like we're zombies. And let them fall down to your sides. Inhale, raise them up. And exhale, back down. Inhale, raise them up, and then let your upper body follow. And you're coming out of your grave. And exhale, down to the side. Inhale, hands back up all the way over your head. Rounding them back with an exhale. Let's fold our legs here. Place our palms up so we can get all that spooky energy we just created with our mats. A few more breaths together. Let's take 2 big exhales together. So in, and let it all out. In and let it all out. Just flutter those eyes open. Inhale, our arms up, placing our hands together so they can come down through to our heart center. Thank you so much for taking time out of your Halloween day to do some yoga with us on our mats. I hope you have fun with it. If you did it in a costume, please post it, tag us, send us a picture, comment below. We'd love to see how you're enjoying your holiday on your yoga mat. Thank you so much, and I cannot wait till next time. Namaste.